When it comes to airsoft and gas blowbacks, there's hands down one place that I love to go, on the hop-up app, but that's not to say that it doesn't have its flaws. Before we take a deeper dive into the CYMA CGS system, why don't I give you a little backstory? You see, when I ordered this guy from whoever it came in looking loved, and that wasn't really a problem. All I did was give it a coat of paint, little custom camo job with the soap and water method, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But the big issue was the 5 mags that I picked up with it. A lot of them came with feed lips that were 3D printed, missing parts, and bolt stop on empties that weren't working. And I wasn't informed of this, but the person who sent it to me was kind enough to refund enough of the funds in order for me to purchase 5 of the mag rebuild kits, which I'm sure you saw in the previous video that we just uploaded. So we fixed all our mags. Let's go. Now, with this being an aftermarket buy, it's absolutely essential I also state to you that, well, duh, it's used. I went ahead and cleaned everything, relubricated it, and a few other things that I noticed are there's a quad bucking in there, and I don't know what the inner barrel is, but chances are it's aftermarket as well. Not to mention all the other aftermarket parts that are on the outside of here that will not come with it. Dented defense stock, grip, foregrip, light and laser, optic, and shush can. Now that we've gotten over the funky stuff, what the heck is the CYMA CGS M4? Basically, it's CYMA's rendition of the MWS with a couple differences on the inside that aren't necessarily compatible. Where Tokyo Marui's MWS system is perfectly engineered to function with gas blowback airsoft replicas and not to replicate the internals of their real steel variants, CYMA's CGS system actually copies that internal design real well. And where there's plenty of those parts compatibility lists found online, the one thing that CYMA's CGS system lacks is the Z system plate, which is designed to lock on the bolt. We'll explain that a little bit later, but CYMA's CGS system doesn't go with that design. It goes with a regular bolt stop system. I've got a ton of comments asking how I did this paint job, so I'm going to overlay the video, the only video that I have of me doing this. This is the soap camouflage method. Basically, I had an entirely new base coat, clear coated it, laid dish soap all over it, coated it again, laid dish soap all over it, coated it with a different coat of paint, and then I washed it all off with water. Then I added a clear coat and we finished. And this is what we have. I do not believe this is the stock that comes with the CGS system. However, it is pretty stable, so that's really nice. The buffer tube, however, is the one that comes with it, and just keep in mind the threads in there are not mil-spec. Once you get into the main body of the CYMA CGS system, it functions very much like any other AR. You have things like your non-ambidextrous fire selector switch that if you flip over to the opposing side, you can see your semi, your auto, and your safe. Let's just make sure everything functions the way that it should. Should probably take the mag out first. It's good to see that our bolt lock back does function correctly. Take a look at the trigger, which I believe is adjustable actually, and we'll explain that later. There is a straight wall there. The pull is, I mean, that's got to be like a 4-pound pull. That is actually pretty aggressive. There's 0 over travel, 0 movement in the back. Let's see our reset. It's a sort of a long reset, but it's very forced. It's actually really nice and snappy. The auto should have absolutely no reset as expected, and then safe should only function after the hammer is set, and there should be no movement. As for mag release, it is not ambidextrous. It is only activatable by your index finger. And those mags sit in place quite well, actually. There's no movement up and down, very little forward and back, and a lot more side to side. As for your charging handle, it can be activated ambidextrously, and it's got your authentic Noveske logo on it. Something that's also really cool is you have a ton of other Noveske logos stamped all over the receiver, and then even a 300 blackout logo on the inside of your dust cover, and then another logo on the bolt. Tons of rail space all over the entire replica, including M-LOK on all the sides as well as the base. A lot of the ones on the sides are covered by these little M-LOK covers. And then, of course, your 14mm counterclockwise threads that are covered by this shush can that I covered in pickup truck bed liner spray. It kind of looks cool. Just the hop-up, things are not as easy as I would like to make them. What you're going to have to do is flip the entire receiver in half, turn it upside down, pull your bolt back, and you see that little screw down in there? That is crazy. Okay, so I didn't even realize the hop-up arm is completely disengaged. This arm is supposed to be wedged under this little, like, spiral staircase system, but you twist this in order to engage the hop-up, and it does click. I don't know if you can see that. Let me fix my hop-up arm before we continue. How did I not notice that? All right, Let's fire it. It's 50 degrees. I'm out of red gas. We got 0.25 gram BBs and propane for the entirety of this test. Also, you must be absolutely crazy if you haven't picked up an official Stupid Airsoft patch. So what are you doing? Now's as good a time as any to take a look at our mags. They are a giant plastic sleeve, which honestly I'm a little concerned that I might break, but they do say 300mm blackout on it. We have a large purple curved gas router, some decently thick feed lips. The entire upper of this guy is plastic, and if you haven't seen in our rebuild video, all of these parts are completely replaceable. They sell actually like full kits in order to replace them. You got some metal on the sides, your gas release valve. This is your bolt stop on empty. And then in order to fill the gas, you're going to have to press this button down every time, which is kind of annoying, if I can get a finger in there. And there's your gas fill valve. I would probably recommend just drilling a hole through this, but that's your fill valve. This is me chiming in from the future here, because I actually made a mistake. I didn't realize you don't have to drill in through these. You could just pop out this inner tab, close it back up, and now you can access your fill valve. That's awesome. Now, whereas with most cases you're going to want to fill your gas mags like 7 to 10 seconds, I'm going to fill these to the absolute max that we can, and there's a reason for it. I want to just push these things to their absolute limit, and I want to see the absolute maximum amount of BBs we can shoot out of a single gas fill on both semi and fun mode. Let's cross our fingers and hope that it works with the speed loader from T238. It did during the unboxing video, so I can't imagine it's not going to. That's what I'm talking about. That's a full fill. I'm going to go ahead and fill this guy as well. We're only going to use one to start, though. Actually feel a little better if you put them at an angle. Good to know. It is a beautiful 50 degrees Fahrenheit today, and that feels so nice because it just keeps snowing, raining, and the wind has been aggressive recently, so we're finally getting into our spring weather here, and it's important that we mention that just so that you know what the kind of gas we're using and how this guy's going to perform. If anything happens, you can blame it on the slightly cooler weather. All I'm going to do to start off is lock the bolt back, just because we are running a fully filled mag. Index it in there. Not too bad, a little wobbly. We are on semi already. Drop the bolt. And I do want to say, just with dropping the bolt, I can hear like that typical like spring twinge every time that the bolt moves forward or backwards. So we'll see if we also hear that when firing. I know there's some modifications you can do to stop that, but let's see how many BB fills in one mag we can get out of a single gas fill. And this is mag 1. Oh, recoil on that's actually kind of nice. That's really nice, actually. That jolts back and forward like... You can still hear that twang. I'll tell you when the twang stops after I fire. So, hear it, hear it, hear it, and it stops. It's like 3 seconds. Trigger is super nice, and you can see the bolt locked back, so that's nice to see, especially being that they went without the Z system. So I'm interested to see how that fares in comparison with the typical MWS systems, like Z plate. We're going to our next full mag of BBs, same gas fill. Here we go. Oh, we're already getting soft. Interesting. You know, I would have really banked that we were going to run through at least 2 mags, but with no cooldown, we made it through like a mag and I'd say like 3/4. Only like 1 mag and a half were probably viable though. Now keep in mind, just by the looks of it, this is one of those replicas that were used and loved. So our gas seals on everything aren't going to be 100% perfect. Even though we did replace our gas routers, the latch that catches the mags might be a little worn out, so they might be falling a little bit low in terms of the nozzle. The O-rings of the nozzle might not be the cleanest. I tried to do my best, but we also have to give it, you know, a little respect for still working. Let's run it in fun mode. No forgiveness, brand new mag, full BB fill, full gas fill. Oh, that feels really good actually. Oh. Oh, the nozzle got stuck. What was that about? Interesting. No? Oh, we're already out of gas? All right. So gas efficiency, it could be better. It's not brand new. I know that these work better brand new. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more TLC on this thing, I think. I took the can off the front just for maximum accuracy, and I also want to see how it sounds like without that on, because I know that can affect the sound a little bit. And why don't we start off with a couple accuracy tests, and we'll do some like peaking tests as well. Obviously the ergonomics can be very similar to any AR platform, so I don't really need to test that. We got a body size target down range, and let me just get to a position where we're locked on target. That feels so nice. Yeah, repeated shots on target. I mean, no, we're not like the furthest away, but that is super, super comfortable. Reload a mag. And why don't we run some peaking drills? There we go. So hard with the left side. And we are locked back, mag empty. Alrighty, bolt locked back. 6 head sights targets. Here we go. I guess the mags are starting to freeze over. We're set up for 0.25s on the chronograph. And we'll run a few down it and see what our consistency is. Obviously the power is going to differ because this isn't a brand new replica. But here we go. 293 FPS at 1 joule. 293 FPS at 1 joule. 295 FPS at 1 joule, 1.02 joules. 290 FPS at 0.98 joules. 214 FPS at 0.54 joules. 289 FPS at 0.97 joules. 285 FPS at 0.94. 281 FPS at 0.92 joules, 281.7 FPS at 0.92 joules, and 281.7 FPS at 0.92 joules. So our groupings is a little jumpy. I can expect that for a used replica. It's a little jumpy every now and then, but when it does get consistent, it stays consistent. It could be better. Enough of that, let's check out the insides. We're first going to start by removing any barrel attachments that you have on it, whether it be a suppressor, a tracer, don't matter. And we'll pop the mag out as well. Totally just drop that on the floor. Next, we have to take both these pins out. So we're going to pop the back pin out. And then the front pin out. And then we can pop both the upper and lower receiver apart. So we'll start with the lower receiver just because this is going to be about as far as we'll go. You can pop out the buffer and your spring, and here is your lower receiver system. Pretty simple how it all works. Your hammer assembly is totally different. It works off Tokyo Marui's Z system and Z plate. Wow, my fingers are dirty. Off Tokyo Marui's Z system and Z plate. You can see the little adjust here screw hole, and that's going to allow you to adjust the pull of your trigger and the reset of your trigger, which is really cool. Now, unlike Tokyo Marui's system, they don't have the Z plate. This is where your bolt stops on empty. The Z plate stops the bolt up in the front of the bolt. This system will stop the bolt in the midsection of the bolt. So it tends to be a little bit less successful, but we haven't really noticed that during testing, especially being a used replica. That's really cool. We'll just check out the internals. So it looks like your stop on empty is steel. Your hammer is steel. Your sears and all are steel. Obviously, all your pins are going to be steel. What's really cool too is you can see the roller bearing on the hammer assembly, and that's going to reduce wear overall on the bolt as it rolls back and forth past the hammer assembly. The buffer is aluminum, and the spring's going to be steel, of course. And as we kind of start to work our way a little bit further into the replica, we're going to pull out the back, the bolt, and the charging handle. With the bolt, you could see we've got another roller bearing in the back. Again, just going to reduce wear as it rolls past the hammer assembly. You can see the nozzle comes in a two-part. Unfortunately, the spring's a little damaged, but still works. That's to help cushion the blow every time that the nozzle makes contact with the hop-up unit. And we'll check out the materials here. The entire bolt is steel, so it's got some good weight to it. That explains a lot of the recoil. Really cool. And then we have an aluminum buffer on the back. Now, to get to your hop-up unit and hop assembly, it's pretty simple. You can see in the inside here, see that little hole? That houses a grub screw. And all you have to do is attack that grub screw. And this is simply the only thing that you have to do to remove the hop-up unit. So it's a quick, easy change hop-up system. As we pull this guy out, this entire plate will become loose. And we can pull it out. This is what holds your hop-up setter. You can see the hop-up dial here. And the small hop-up arm goes under this and applies tension downwards, therefore prying it up and applying tension to the hop-up rubber. And that's all you needed to do. Now you just need something to pull or push the barrel and hop-up unit out. And you can pull it out right here. Now something that you're going to see, just like right out of the box, is that my hop-up arm is 3D printed. Remember when I told you in the beginning of this video the hop-up arm wasn't set? I realized that the hop-up arm was actually bent to crud, and I tried to rebend it back, and it wouldn't rebend back, so it just snapped. So I 3D printed one, and this has been working just fine. The hop-up assembly is a two-part system, so it's just sandwiched together and held by these two O-rings. You can see it kind of pry it apart. And the hop-up arm just sits with a pin that cannot be removed from the inside of the arm on the hop-up unit. You can see the quad bucking here and the aftermarket barrel, plus two stabilizer rings in the front. That's really cool. And then obviously, like I said before, basically how it works is that you tension this wheel, it'll pry down on the arm, therefore increasing the tension on the BB. So we still have one in there. I guess now it's time for the final thoughts on the CYMA CGS, and it's only fair if we rank it based off of what I received and some general things that I noticed, rather than just ranking it out of the box, because, well, my box was used. Now, whereas the listing said CYMA CGS 5 mags working being taken lightly because there was a lot of things that I had to do after I received it in order to get it to like a fieldable position. After a paint job, cleaning, mag rebuild on all 5 mags, and a new hop-up arm, I think we're finally at a position now where I'd be more than happy to take this thing to a game day, so that's really cool. Now, I do have to give the CGS credit where credit's due. Even being a used and abused replica, this thing is still rock solid. I mean, no wiggling, no wobbling, no creaking, and I can empty a full mag on a single gas fill. That's pretty good. And speaking of the mags, it is an absolute plus that they include the way to take off the plate on the bottom so you can just access the fill valve instead of leaving it as is. Most mags that have these, you have to like drill a hole through them, and that just sucks because it's impossible to line it up. Now, where those mags worry me a tad bit are the plastic outer on the outside. They're simply held to the inside of the body with a single screw on the base of the mag well, and I don't know if I really like the plastic outside on these. They kind of feel a little cheap, almost like the G36 mags from WE, if that makes sense to anybody. You can already see there's some cracking and some wearing going on here, so I hope that holds up long term. But they feel good, and they're not too heavy. When it comes to the inside of the CGS system, it's really cool that they incorporate a way to adjust the trigger right out of the box. However, it's interesting that they chose not to go with Tokyo Marui's Z system. Obviously, that's going to be the superior option. However, it does lock back on empty, and I don't see any ridiculous amounts of wear, especially being how well used this replica was. So they followed all the right parts. It's just interesting they didn't include all the other parts, but it's fine. You know, we like innovation, so good job, CYMA. My general conclusion is do not buy this thing if you're looking for an MWS. It's not going to be Tokyo Marui. Neither is Double Eagles. What you're getting is a slightly more affordable option with a little bit stronger internals and some added features like increased recoil due to the heavier parts. Is it a viable option? Heck yeah. Will I keep this or send it on its way? I don't know yet. But if one of the CYMA CGS system crosses your path and you're wondering if you should pick one up, I'd say go for it. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.